Hello and welcome to Tuner Tips by Todderbert. In front of us we have the Crave PowerPack. This is a 50,000 milliamp hour, 100 watt power delivery power bank with programmable power supply support. This premium power bank comes in around $244 at cravedirect.com or $249 at amazon.com. I'll have links below if you're interested in such a premium item. It's pretty cool. I was on the lookout for a high capacity power bank, and I was looking at the cheap ones. This one stood out as having that 100 watt power delivery and that PPS system, and I thought that'd be pretty neat for future devices. I'll probably end up getting like new phones that could support it, and of course a laptop. So let's check it out. The Crave PowerPack comes in a real fancy box. It's almost the cost of a new iPad, and it kind of comes in like an iPad box. Crave PowerPack. There you go. Fast charging. There you are. And on the back here, we got some bullet points. Bring it up here. So there you are. Wall charger included. That's nice. I'll show you that. There we go. Now, I was expecting something fancy here instead of just 4 LEDs. I was expecting maybe like an OLED display. That'd have been nice. So if Crave's watching this, maybe add a character display or something, because, yeah, it'd be better than these 4 little dots for what you spend. But I know it delivers a lot in the power department, and maybe they decided to go with this to go money savings to provide you with this power scheme. Down here is what it delivers. You can freeze frame that if you like. Okay, we're going to go over some of that. Charging time. So with that 45 watt adapter they give you, expected to charge around 5.5 hours. That's what I noticed from empty. It's a little chunky at 3 pounds, 3 ounces, or 1.45 kilograms. So that's the box. Okay, we'll get rid of the box. Let's show you what comes in the box. Okay, front and center, the power bank. The Crave PowerPack. Yeah, I like the name PowerPack. It's awesome. I'll lower this down a little bit. We'll show you some more stuff that came in there. So yeah, the PowerPack. Awesome. We get the charging adapter. Crave. It's pretty neat. It's got this little oval symbol here, lights up with a white ring, dull when it's not hooked up, and then when you hook it up to your power bank, it goes bright white saying it's charging, and careful it gets hot, so have this in a ventilated area. When you're charging this, don't throw this underneath the couch. You could have a fire, so definitely keep it on a table where you can monitor it. But yeah, it has a fold-out little AC thing here. Nice. So this is a great little thing to get. Is not really a freebie. You paid for it. There you go. You can see the stats. I observed its output's 20 volts at 2.25 amps. I observed 20 volts at 2.3 amps. So slightly over, which was nice. About 47 watts is what I was registering on my device. So yeah, it definitely charges quickly. Kind of love that for this big of a power bank. Charging that fast, that is just fantastic. What else we get? So we got that. We get a power cable, a real short one. That's what you want when you're charging. This is the Crave included with the power pack. It's a 100 watt rated cable, so that's nice. Put that there, and then we get a nice little satin bag with their name on it, Crave. There you go. Save space instead of being a heavy hard case. You get this nice little soft slip here. Most people probably would like this, like if they're carrying it in a satchel or a laptop bag. This is probably what you'd want. And then, of course, we get a little page of instructions. So let's go over these real quick, and then we'll get to the power pack. So here it is, the external battery for portable devices. User guide. Okay, don't expect much. Right up to the camera. Okay, so stats again, as you can see on the input, output for power delivery, Type-C jacks, and the QualComm jacks. It's all right there. It's also printed on the back of the power pack, and it's also printed on the box that you just saw there. And of course, there you go. Some information. What can you charge? I noticed with low power devices that anything under 100 milliamp hours or 100 milliamps, it may not charge it too well. I had a device that kept resetting, so keep it above 100 milliamps and you'll be fine. There's no manual low power mode. I wish there was. So if they're watching this, maybe they can program this to do a low power mode manually, so when you press and hold the button, it'll stay on for a dedicated amount of time or until you turn it off. That'd be nice. As you can see here, you can do 4 devices at once, and there's certain conditions depending on what devices you have plugged in where and what they're drawing. As you can see, you can have a total max output depending on what you're doing at 123 watts. That's pretty cool. So up close to the camera, and there you go. And then we're almost done here. There's your free class questions. Okay. Contact us. Support@cravedirect.com. If you have any questions, there you go. Important safety instructions. Don't put fingers or hands into the product. You don't want to do that. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and focus on the Crave PowerPack. All right, so dimension-wise, we have 5 1/4 inches wide. We have a length of 8 1/8 of an inch, or just over 8 inches. And then we have a thickness of 1 3/8 of an inch. So pretty thick PowerPack. Loving it. For size comparison, I don't have another 50,000 to put next to it, but I do have a Romas 30,000 milliamp hour power bank, which delivers a hefty amount of power as well. But its power delivery is limited to 18 watts. So yeah, don't expect high output on this one. But it's good for most lower power devices. But there you go for that. And of course, I always have a deck of cards. Handy. Yeah. It's a little card. It's pretty funny. Iron Man, he's the man with the master plan. He craves huge power when he can. There you go. Cool. So that's a deck of cards. Standard playing size. All right. Cool. All right. So we're going to demo this too. So stay tuned. We're going to hook up to a bunch of stuff, show you charging 4 things, doing different things that I have on hand. But let's go over features. The Crave PowerPack, if you noticed, it has aluminum enclosure, which is nice. Internal batteries are flat packs, pouch style. I contacted the company to ask them if there were cylindrical cells in here or not, and they told me they were the flat pack style, which is pretty good because they're good for high output. But yeah, aluminum, and the end caps are like an ABS plastic. So yeah, and then again, no frills. It's got some fancy little high gloss treatments on the side there, as you can see. Back's pretty plain, and on the bottom of the back side here, you can see it's got again, all the information you need in case you lose your little pamphlet. It gives you an idea of what outputs you can expect. And it's pretty cool. I can hook up a low drain device to the 100 watt output line, which is good. So let's go to the business end of this device. Here we are. So we got the power switch. It's just pretty much a quick indication of what our battery level is. Now these 4 lights are not very accurate. Unfortunately, I did 3 full tests with this, and you get down to 2. It stays at 2 forever. It'll stay at 2 for like the majority of the time you have something hooked up to here. Then after about almost 2,000 milliamp hours away or 2 amp hours away from it dying, it'll drop down to 0. So if it's been on 2 lights for quite a while, you might want to plug it in and charge it. There really isn't much warning when you get down to the end there. When I saw it flashing, I had about 500 milliamp left of 5 milliamp hour. 500 milliamp hour left, and that was it when it started flashing. So something to keep in mind. They're not super accurate. If it's been on 2 for a while, hook it up. So there's that. At these Type C, nice. So input, and then output. Of course, you just charge one or the other as an input. You can see one's 60 watts, one's 100 watts, both power delivery, and you saw what it could do. And it also has that PPS system, which allows the device to tell the power supply to deliver a certain amount of voltage with a certain amount of amperage, which I think is fantastic. Over here, standard QualComm 3.0. We know those are just 18 watt output, so at least you have those. Perfect for us radio guys and flashlight guys. You don't need much more than these 2 jacks, but having this power delivery is nice, and we're going to showcase that. So let me go ahead and lay this back down, go over any kind of more pertinence. Let's see what we have. Went over that. The cool thing is when you're charging this, you got through charging is available. I hooked up some QC 3.0s. If you're using the low power side, you're fine. So if you're charging at 20 volts, 2 1/4 amps in, you can definitely charge your devices out with no sag, no change on that Type C input. I did check that. That was solid. So it definitely supports through charging when you're using low power devices over here. So don't exceed 4 amps or 6 amps, your total output on these QC 3.0s. That was nice. So total delivered power is a big one. I had recorded this 3 times, and I got the highest number was 32,067 milliamp hours or 160 watt hours. And that was at 5 volts at around 1.5 amps. So over 3 tests. It's close to 70% conversion, which I've noticed on most power banks. It came in around 65%, which is acceptable because I think this device, when it's turned on, even though it's running low power over here, I think it's running other circuits, powering them up. So you have a parasitic drain, probably getting ready to recognize other devices being plugged in the power delivery mode. That's my guess. But otherwise, pretty impressed with it. So yeah, we're going to demo this bad boy. So yeah, let's go ahead and hook up some items to it. So yeah, the Crave PowerPack, I'm happy with it. I love the fact that it can do lanterns and flashlights and radios, everything. So, and there's quite a bit of power here. Power outage, off the grid work, camping, wherever you're going without power, you're going to be happy with this. I don't know, I think I got to leave this up a little bit so we can see everything I plug into it. So let's just have some fun. First thing I'm going to grab is a meter just to show you kind of like the QC 3.0 because I started messing with the Type-C and it's kind of a hassle with this meter. So we're just going to hook this up. We're going to show you that it can charge, the normal, like a 2 amp device. Here's a flashlight. This is hooked up to right now it's hooked up to the wrong thing. Okay, it's hooked up to a Type-C jack. So we'll hook up a radio instead. So let's see what I got here. I got a XH Data D808. Awesome shortwave radio. I'll get these wires. We're going to have to kind of route around. Try to plug it in. So let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess. Yeah, spaghetti. That's what's going to happen here. So I got to get these wires out of the way. So you hit the button to start it. If it doesn't work with the button, then you have to unplug this meter. Now it's just a meter thing. I don't think it's if I just plugged in the radio, it would just work. Here we go. So it's going to start showing a charging here on the radio itself. There you go. And we got a output there. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Let me see what kind of cables I got handy. So I got that radio going. Yeah, here, okay, I found the cable for the flashlight. So what I wanted to do is show you this flashlight on that same pulling 2 amps. Because the radios, they charge at lower amps. This flashlight pulls 2 amps. So I got the right cable for this. Let's go ahead and unplug this here. This you can do on the fly. Plug that in. So the flashlight's going to show you pulling 2 amps. There you go. Red light's charging. See that? Awesome. So that's the flashlight plugged in there, but we want to use the flashlight on the Type-C. So I'm going to do all that. So we're going to load this up. Typical setup that I would be using it for. So we're going to take and get a Type-C cable hooked up to this. You have to do it in a certain order because if you don't, it might reset. I've noticed that, and that's kind of a hassle. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in our flashlight first. So flashlight. We're going to just kind of move the radio out of the way for a moment. And you saw what this thing does. So we don't need this meter here anymore. Just was going to show you a little bit of what it can do. Let's go ahead and plug this. Now this will work in the Type-C 100 slot or the 60. So we'll just plug it here in the 60 watt. So as you can see, we're charging the flashlight at 2 amps. So that's nice. So I'm going to have to slide this way over here so I can get this other stuff in the frame. So next, so the big deal I want to bring out is a really cool setup that I think a lot of people would probably have. I have an 8-bay charger here. This is the X-Star. And it's cool because it runs on power delivery mode. 15 volts. I believe at 3 amps. Let's see what it says there on the back. Should say it there. Yep, PD 3.0, 15 volts, 3 amps. So it gives you 1 amp output on each battery you're trying to charge. So there you go, the VC8S. Pretty awesome. So what we're going to do here is get that Crave wire, this little dude, and we're going to hook it up. Now it'll automatically, of course, recognize and deliver the right amount of power to the device. So yeah, like I said, spaghetti. A lot of wires jammed up here. I'm trying to do it all on camera, so. Okay, so that's going to light up. Now you have to make sure the batteries are removed for this to work. So flashlight's still going. I'm going to bring this, I have to slide this over more. And then move my light out of the way here. so you guys can see the display on the X-Star. So what I'm going to start doing here is I'm going to start loading the X-Star up with some batteries. Like I say, it'll charge 8 of these at almost 1 amp each, which is fantastic. While it's charging a flashlight, while it's charging your radios. Yep, I'm going to show you all that. And we'll do final thoughts on what I think about this device. So here we go. It's just a tedious process of loading this up. And I'll show you where this charger's hanging out, how much it's charging. But yeah, these are cool batteries, by the way. I'm using, got some Moly cells. These are high. These are the 2800s. I think they're like 30 or 40 amp output. Those are bad boys. These other ones here, these Panasonics A's, these are good for radios. And so are these Samsungs. I think these are 3000 if I remember, or 3500s. Okay, so. And now we wait, and then this should automatically balance. As you can see, voltages, amps, we have 9/10 of an amp on each cell. There you go, the final one jumped to 9. So we're pretty much at 1 amp each. And of course, if these batteries were weaker, they would probably be pulling a full amp. So there you are. So now that's going. Let's leave it go. All right. So let's hook up some radios. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of jam this in here. We'll see what else we can do. Jeez. Flashlight. Actually getting kind of warm with 2 amps. Okay. So the flashlight, I'm just going to kind of lay it on these wires. I don't recommend this. But for just trying to get things happening. You know what? I'm going to bring this one back in the frame in a second. I got to plug in these radios. So here's the D808. We're going to plug this in. It'll automatically start charging. So here's the D808 charging. You see the little battery indicator. Nice. And of course, everything's still charging over here. We have our through night. We have the X-Star still going. And of course, we want another radio, right? Why not? Oh, here we go. Underneath the wires. Sweet. Come on, through night. Lay right. Oh, it's that cable in the way. Okay, and then we got the Texan PL330. We'll lay it right there. It's got a little USB micro. We'll plug it in that second QualComm. And then this will kind of finalize our demo, showing you we can charge 4 devices. There you go. Charge status. This one's pretty cool. It'll give a lapse time of charge. And of course, showing you the charge indicator there. So now everything's charging. We got the 8 batteries at once at 1 amp. Boom. 2 amps on this guy. This is probably like a half amp. This one's probably like around a half amp as well. To give you an idea what's being out. So it's not utilizing the full potential, but if I had a laptop with 100 watts, you can see what it can do. But this is kind of the situation I'd have. And maybe I'd have a lantern. Let's see if I got a lantern. Like this guy here. An expensive lantern. Hooked up to it to charge it up too. That's nice. Like if you're in a camping situation, you need some light. Hook up that too as well instead of one of the radios. Something to think about because this acts as a power bank too once it's charged up. So there it is. The PowerPack driving all this stuff. Looks amazing. I know the Sense 8 here, this guy here, I think this charge can do 3 at once. But again, nothing like this. It can't charge this those 8 batteries at 1 amp. No way. It definitely falls short. But yeah, it's doing it all, man. It's great. So yeah, there's my through night getting warm to the touch. 2 amps. And then our batteries. All at 1 amp. Okay, cool. So let's do some final thoughts. I'm going to, I guess, disconnect some things here so we can kind of get the PowerPack front and center. So we'll just disconnect these. Now, I noticed the QualComm 3.0s, sometimes they reset depending on which order you plug them in. But that's no big deal. They don't affect the Type-Cs. And if you unplug a Type-C, they reset. So they kind of are independent there. So I'm going to set these radios off to the side. Yeah, I like portable power. I think this is amazing. Is it overkill? It might be, depending on what you're doing. If you're just doing low power devices, yeah, you don't need this. You want the ROMOS. You want something like this here. These were like 35 bucks, 40 bucks or something. Just pick yourself up one of these. It's not as fancy. It doesn't have the aluminum casing. Again, your output's pretty basic on there, as you can see. Nothing spectacular, but just has a huge amount of output to it. All right, for the money you spend. But this one has the 100-watt power delivery, which is amazing. So we're still charging this. I think if I unplug the flashlight first, this will go off. So if we unplug the flashlight, yeah, it turns off the charger. So remember that when you're doing your stuff, that'll happen. You have to reset it. So, and of course, to reset the charger, you have to take all the batteries out. And yeah, that's fun. So let's go ahead and unplug this. And we'll talk about the power pack, and it'll be done. Glad you guys are watching. This is cool. I like featuring premium items on my channel, as you guys know. Fancy radios, fancy chargers, fancy flashlights. I do like inexpensive as well. I like $10 radios. I like $10 power banks. You've seen me feature those. I've even featured $5 power banks. They get cheap sometimes, and you got to review them. Let's bring that light back in. There we go. There it is. Okay, so the Crave PowerPack, yeah. Kudos to this new system, this PPS system, the Programmable Power Supply Support. That actually is intriguing to me. I really like that. I think it's a great feature. I think it's its main selling point besides the 100-watt power delivery, because a lot of units can claim they have that. But to have that PPS system as well, where it's there must be some smart chip happening in here that allows that device to tell the power supply it wants this voltage at this amp, and it can ratchet up and down through that voltage range, which is fantastic. So yeah, I do like that. So caveats, yeah, I wish it had a more accurate battery display. It may be something with numbers or an OLED, because there's a lot of fancy power banks out there in this price range that do have fancy displays. Just want to put it out there. I don't know, there's one called a Shark Geek or something like that. They have a cool color OLED, which is amazing. It doesn't have as much capacity as this, but it looks interesting, and you can program the power delivery port to do different things. So just an idea. But overall, at $244, it gets a maybe recommendation from me. You have to really need the power delivery on this device. You really have to have that need for 100 watts output for your laptop or a high-tech phone. You need to have that PPS system. That's the only main reason why you're going to buy this. Because for low power devices, again, you're going to pick up that ROMOS that I showed you. So again, it's a maybe recommendation at $244 because it's a premium item. And for just to charge radios, you don't need this just to charge radios or flashlights. But if you need to charge a bank of 18650s, because you got some kind of fancy drone that needs them, or you're big into something else that requires 18650s, this is kind of nice, especially in the field. You can charge all those at once. And again, something to keep in mind if you are an SDR person, this can power your SDR, your antenna, and your laptop for your SDR. So if you're into shortwave on the go, and you do it hardcore style with an SDR, with a laptop, this would be what you want to bring with you for sure. So it gives a big thumbs up for that. Crave is a great company. They have some quality products, high-end. Definitely probably one of the most high-end companies I found on Amazon. So definitely check out their other products. I may be picking up a few more just because I do like the label, and I'm pretty impressed. And I will be picking up a ROMOS 50,000. We'll compare them, kind of give you an idea of the pros and cons of why you get which one. So there it is. So there it is, a maybe recommendation. Again, good for those who need the power delivery, not good for those who just need low power devices. So, like the radios. But there it is, the Crave PowerPack. Thanks for watching. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this video. 2, if you like the Crave products. Subscribe at the bell icon. Get notified of future reviews, which I'm going to be doing. And of course, 3, comment below what you think about the Crave PowerPack, 50,000 milliamp hour, 100 watt power delivery with the PPS support. Is this something you need? Are you looking at this going, hey, Todderbert, that's actually perfect. That's exactly what I need. Off the grid, laptop, my phone, my radios, my SDR, things like that. Let me know. Be curious to hear what you have to say. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in my next video.